Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whenever you are, whether it's now or in the future. Thank you for watching my videos. A lot of you all know, during every one of my live stream videos that I do and edit and post later on, I do a question and answer section. So we went through a bunch of them and picked 5 of the best questions and put them together as a compilation in this video. I hope you enjoy it. Cheers. And
Hello, Da Vinci. Thank you so much for your reply. I remember since later you were telling me this, and every time it seems I believe in you more and more. And I'm actually convinced. However, if you don't mind, I have a few questions because I'm quite into this, right? So my question is that uh, what metrics are you using to determine that the Bitcoin prices will go up? Since when you say the Bitcoin price is going to go up, you mean the Bitcoin cryptocurrency itself or the cryptocurrency market? And if it's just the cryptocurrency itself, hey, how can the Bitcoin compete against other cryptocurrencies like the one from the bank, like Dash, that transactions take only 10 seconds or even less? And other, or just the black market cryptocurrencies like Monero and Zcash that are more anonymous than Bitcoin. How can you be sure that Bitcoin will prevail against these new cryptocurrencies in the future?
those are excellent questions, and you know what? I have to answer this because it's very important, right? Uh, Basically, one, right? You have to understand how a protocol, what a protocol is. A protocol is not like your car. It's not like an airplane, right? That somebody could. Oh, look at that! I like that idea. I'm going to copy it and build my own airplane that's better than yours, or build my own car. No, and protocol is like having a car that you buy in like a K car in your driveway, and then all of a sudden a bunch of developers come in and turn it into a Lamborghini for you for free. Yeah, you're not going to get that with a car, right? That's how a protocol works. People augment it over time, and it then eventually solidifies and becomes a product that everybody's using in every kind of system, embedded systems, right? That no one's going to want to change. And that's how Bitcoin is slowly becoming. Also, a lot of people complain about the speed about Bitcoin and the basically the speed, but it balances itself out, but based on hey, you know what, security and speed. So it's fast enough to be able to be used as a currency, as a what's it called? Not a currency, but a storage of value, a very expensive storage of wealth, right? And a worthwhile storage of wealth like gold is, and not directly as a currency as it is right now. But that's good enough. Why? Because people who have the majority of the wealth, right, they can still use that. And yeah, maybe you can't use that as it is right now, but they can, right? And so it will. Those are the people that really matter. And what do they want? So if they're the people who really matter, right? People who have the majority of wealth, what do they want? They want security. They want to make sure that this thing is not going to break, ever. And the fact that Bitcoin has more time, right? Cooking in the oven, right? More time to make sure that there's no flaws. It's been out in the wild a lot longer than Dash, a lot longer than Monero, a lot longer than Zcash, right? Means that it's already been battle tested and was ready. You don't know if there's going to be a flaw in Zcash. You don't know if there's going to be a flaw in Monero. You don't know if there's going to be a flaw in Dash, right? So they can't risk going to those assets with large sums of their money, not knowing for sure that there is no flaws, right? Yes, Bitcoin has had few flaws in the past, right, that have been patched. But we know that this is a possibility for other cryptocurrencies, such as Beam and what's it called? Mimble. What's the other Mimble coin? I forgot the name. But anyways, it's those coins have been have a flaw in them too. You don't want to put your cash in that. And now that they put their wealth in it, they're going to actually all these wealthy people that put their wealth into this asset. They're going to want to have other people like yourself, the average person, transact in it with them. So they'll find ways to make it easy for you to transact, and that's why Bitcoin is not going anywhere. It's gonna fly, and it's not gonna die. So make sure that you have some Bitcoin, and you keep with your Bitcoin. Now, this guy, right? You know how people are, right? They call you up out of nowhere because Bitcoin's going up, and say, "Hey, what do you think about Bitcoins?" Right? I'm getting a lot of that. Everybody in this space is getting a lot of that, right? Aren't you getting a lot of that, NT?
No, not really.
No, I'm surprised. I'm surprised none of your friends are asking. I guess that we have to wait until the bubble really gets to the absolute top. Then
Dude.
they'll be calling you.
Dude, my friends are living in the era where Bitcoin was used to transact in the deep web. That's why they think it's used for today.
Yeah, they have no clue, and they
No
will be
clue.
coming, knocking on your door, saying, "Hey, Inti, you know that Bitcoin thing that you're into? Is it a good time to buy at the top?"
Oh
Alrighty,
man.
so yeah, that's the critical question that everybody asks, and everybody needs to know that, hey, you know what, Bitcoin's here to stay, because you know what, it's a solid protocol that's never going to be displaced, basically, unless it completely collapses, and that will probably collapse all other cryptocurrencies, and that's not likely to happen.
Okay, so Neus Tech asked something very interesting, and it was, do the United States steal wealth from other countries if they keep printing USD?
Yes, exactly. That's what they do. Exactly what they're doing. Think about it, right? When you go to buy something in China or whatever country with these dollars, right? What happens is they take those dollars and they store it at the central bank, and then they print the local currency, and that represents the dollar stored at the central bank represents the wealth that they gave you. So, if they were to not print and not deflate that money, if and they were to pay back their debts, that money would go up in value, and so would your standard of living in whatever country you are in, because you are a beneficiary of you providing them some services or goods, and then that getting these dollars, which actually increased in value, which increases your local currency's value. But the opposite of that is happening. so of course your currency is going down. Now, what makes it even worse is that your local currency, your local government, doesn't like it when its currency goes up in value, right? So they like to debase it faster than the United States. So you're getting a double hit. It sucks, but that's the way it is. Next question.
Next question is from Uncle Enko. Are quantum computers a problem for Bitcoin?
No, they're not actually at all. Bitcoin, like all encryptions, right? Bitcoin was designed with the understanding that all encryptions eventually get broken over time. It was designed with that knowledge and organized in such a way that encryptions once a quantum computer breaks, the encryption will just replace it with quantum computing proof encryption. That's it. And that's the kind of thing that people will be working on more than actually breaking Bitcoin. So consider that. Breaking Bitcoin for Google doesn't make any sense for them when they have other things they need to do, right? Because if they break Bitcoin, they're breaking every other encryption as well. They can access the NSA. They can access everywhere. So it's not the end all. It's not the end all. And besides, if there's better things, targets to get after if they were to break it, right? At this point in time, maybe it might be worth it later on, but right now there'd be bigger targets to get and more money and more value, long-term value, by getting the secrets out of the NSA. whole lot of long-term value.
Can you imagine? Things you maybe don't want to know.
Exactly.
Well, mine Excel. And this is a really easy question and obvious in the case of Da Vinci. It says, Da Vinci, Inti, what are your favorite movies?
For me, obviously, it's the number one. If I were to choose, I like a lot of movies, and I love obviously Aliens. Watched it 1 billion times. I like what's it called? Matrix, right? Of course, and I've like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right? I don't know if you've heard of that one from the '80s, and quite a few Star Wars and all that kind of stuff. But my favorite, if I were to choose one, right? Of course, it would be The Matrix, right? Why? It's just so. It is exactly how our world is today. Think about it for a second, right? A bank and their government turns you into a battery, basically. They use you without your knowledge and drain your work energy from you without your knowledge. And you just do so happily, thinking this is the way it should be. It's great. Everything's good. And you don't realize that something's wrong. It's only when you're at the edge, the fringe, when you're at the edge of your poverty, do you notice that this is not working. This is not right. It's only when you're there do you see that you feel that something is in the back of your head is just not right, and you don't know what it is. You can't put a pin on it, so you lash out at the wealthy and successful, and although it's your anger's direction is partially correct, it's not. 90% of it is not blamed. 90% is blamed on the government and the banking system. The other 10%, of course, belongs to the wealthy, because they do participate in this, and they do have some. They're not completely blameless, right? Because they can print more money, right? They have the ability to print, but that's only a function of the banking system. If the banking system says they can't print, they can't print, right? So, yeah, that's our world that we live in, and that's why I love The Matrix. And you know what? I loved The Matrix even before I understood the parallels of it. It was just something that was out of this world, sci-fi reality that seemed. It seemed like impossible, but interesting. But now you see it when you learn how the financial system works and how the bankers are and how they are criminal, and what things they do. You realize, wow, it was maybe even written by a banker. The whole story. You know what I mean?
Yes. Definitely. I would love to hear his motivation. Why do you do these videos? Why do you share all this content with the people?
I've asked myself that question when I started this just journey and doing YouTube videos. At first, I really suck at this. Honestly, I do. This is not my my day job that I want, that I'm really good at, right? And the reason why I did this was back in the day was because I realized that our whole financial system is a fraud. And it's a scam, and not many people understand it. And in fact, when I tried to explain it to my family, they all thought I was crazy, thought that I'd lost my mind, and yeah, and so I figured that I needed to tell somebody, even though nobody would listen to me. But I figured that I'd actually have one or two people that would listen, and probably be able to save their lives if they took action, of course, and saved in gold and silver and hard money. And I figured that, if I save one person, that'd be enough. Because I remember watching as a kid a video of this little child, right, on the beach, throwing fish into the water, because the beach was filled with fish that had been beached. Because of a storm, And so he was throwing the fish into the water one after the other, right? And this little girl came up to him and said, "What are you doing?" Right? And he says, "I'm trying to save the fish." Right? And the girl says, "Why are you doing that? There's so many fish on this beach. Is it really gonna matter?" And the kid said, "It will matter to the fish that I save." And then she continued. She just picked up the fish and started throwing fishes into the water. I remember that, and I thought, you know, it won't matter. Yeah, you're right. It won't matter as much for all the because there's just so many people in the world that I won't be able to save, right? But it will matter to the few people that I do help, and that's why I do this, right? Because one day, quite a few people have already, right? That the people who have invested in Bitcoin that I helped invest in Bitcoin at the very beginning when it was only $1, they've all thanked me so many times, right? One person even gave me 100 Bitcoins as a gift, right? And thanks, right? So yeah, I'm appreciative that I get to help people in this way by providing this information, and hopefully they take the information and act, and obviously protect themselves from the coming destruction of our currency. That is the most important thing I want to do in this in doing these videos, right? I've already made my money. I've already made I can pretty much stop right now and never have to work again, right? But that would be boring. So I just basically enjoy doing this stuff. So right now I'm just doing this to help as many people as I can, because I know there's still going to be a lot of people who never buy Bitcoin and get wiped out. There's going to be a lot of families who lived with this current system, who don't understand what's going on, don't see what's happening, and they have everything in stocks, bonds, and their mutual funds, and they're just going to get wiped out. And it's sad. It's sad, and I hope we could save. Actually, I hope it's all of us together, right? Or by you sharing my videos and so forth, to save as many people as we can. We're not going to be able to save everybody, but if we save just one more person, that'd be enough for me. All right. Well, thank you for that question. Thank you for watching, guys. I really appreciate the small group that watched my videos and watched at the very end, right? With all my errors and so forth. I'm not the best public speaker, right? But hey, I do my best, and I enjoy sharing it with you, sharing my information with you. So cheers.
Bye, people.
Take
Hope
it
you
easy.
enjoyed it.
So that was my 5 best questions and answers. I hope that they helped you. I hope you learned something. And remember, right? Bitcoin's real. Bitcoin's here to stay. You need to be a part of it. Cheers.